The Boston Bruins definitely needed a boost after a loss earlier this week to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they got that thanks to the New Jersey Devils, the Bruins scoring 8 goals, including the first for a local boy in his NHL debut. Going to talk about all that and more on today's episode of Locked On Boston Bruins.
You're Locked On Bruins, your daily podcast on the Boston Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Bruins fans, and welcome back to the Locked On Boston Bruins podcast. I'm your host, Ian McLaughlin, and this is a daily show where we discuss all things Spoke to Be, as well as take a look around the NHL. I want to start by sending out a huge thank you for making Locked On Bruins your first listen every day. The podcast is free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And not only was March the highest single download month in the history of the podcast, but we also by far reached a new daily download average. So thank you so much. It was an exciting month for the Bruins. A lot of wins, some interest around the trade deadline, the acquisition of Hampus Lindholm, keeping Jake DeBrusk for now. And I'm excited to see where we go through the final month of the season and into the playoffs. Just on a personal note, those of you who've listened before know I like to sprinkle in some personal notes here and there. It has been kind of a rough past couple of weeks. For whatever reason, my shoulder has been really killing me for the last 2 weeks. Going to physio quite regularly. That's why I'm kind of leaned back in my chair. And if there have been times where I've been a bit low energy, well, that's the reason. Also have a kid upstairs at home. He's missed 4 days this week because of a very bad cold. Given him a few tests, thankfully, not COVID, but sleep has not been at a premium here at the McLaren household over the last couple of weeks. So I thank you for the ongoing support regardless, and for joining me to discuss the Boston Bruins every single day. It really does mean a lot. Please follow Locked NHL Bruins at ENC McLaren on Twitter for all the latest and some hockey tweets, dad jokes, and the like. Let's get into last night's game, shall we? It was kicked off by a pregame ceremony honoring Tuukka Rask. We'll talk about that in a moment, but first, the actual game was as lopsided as it gets. The Bruins 8-1 winners over the New Jersey Devils, rebounding quite well from a disappointing loss to the Toronto Maple Leafs on Tuesday night. The highlight for me and for the guys on the bench, if you were watching closely, was the first career goal scored by Marc McLaughlin, appearing in his NHL debut. Pure jubilation on his face, and it was up and down the bench as well. Bruce Cassidy saying, "It tells you a lot about the Bruins. This kid has only been here for a little bit, but he's worked hard." Every guy on the bench was excited for him. McLaughlin said it was a special night. He subbed in for Craig Smith, who was a bit under the weather. Skated on the third line alongside Trent Frederick and Charlie Coyle. He said he feels like he's lived that moment 100 million times down in his basement, shooting pucks. Dream come true here. To get in a game and be able to contribute with a goal is really special. I believe he had upwards of 50 people in the stands rooting him on. He said coming into it, the boys loosened him up a bit, made him feel comfortable in the room, and that went a long way getting out there for the first time. He had the comforts of home all around him. He hails from Billerica, Massachusetts, 25 minutes north of Boston. Played 4 years at Boston College. Went undrafted, signed by the Bruins as a free agent just a couple of weeks ago, and made an immediate impact for the Bruins by scoring a heater of a goal. I thought it was interesting that the Bruins did not do the typical letting the guy making his NHL debut skate around the ice on his own. Andrew Raycroft pointed that out on Twitter as well. And it's a concerted effort on the part of the Boston Bruins to treat everyone in the locker room equally. Any form of initiation, hazing was banned by Zdeno Chara when he was captain. And, this act is pretty innocent, pretty typical around the NHL, but it just goes to show the extra lengths the Bruins go to make players feel welcome, feel part of the team, and not to demean first-year players in any way at all, which is really cool. Brad Marchand said it was funny looking over in warm-ups, seeing the crowd that McLaughlin had in the stands. Surreal feeling for him, being a local kid, getting the opportunity to play. And he was talking to Charlestown native Matt Grzelcyk about his first game. And just amazing to see the reaction from his family. His mom was jumping down. Just pretty cool to see overall. Grzelcyk as well, opening the scoring with a goal in this one. So overall, a very impressive debut for McLaughlin. He came in like a number of other college free agents, Kevin Miller, Torrey Krug, Noel Acciari among them. They all found quick success with the Bruins, and they were all hardworking guys, a bit older when they came in, so they're a little further along. They kind of get what it takes, more mature, and Marc certainly falls in that category. He's been working hard, doing everything professional in practice, shooting the puck hard, and you saw it on that goal. That was not an accident. He can shoot the puck very well, makes hard plays. Called to play the wing tonight. He generally plays center. It's just one game, but the Bruins were happy that it went good for him, and he could be an important part of the team if there are injuries here in the playoffs. You still have Jack Stanika, who could step in as well. Anton Bleed came in for Nick Foligno last night. He's battling another injury. Josh Brown made his Bruins debut, subbing in for Connor Clifton. Mike Riley came in for Derek Forbort. Brown dropping the gloves early on in this one. He did suffer an injury. Not sure when he'll get back in the lineup. Riley showing some physicality. So there was a lot of emotion at both ends of the ice, and it was good for the Bruins to have this kind of game to shake off the poor performance against the Maple Leafs. We'll award the big bear of the night and talk more about the contributions up and down the lineup for the Boston Bruins here in a moment. But first, a quick word about HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. HelloFresh's chefs really know how to diversify the menu with seasonal recipes like salmon limon and pasta primavera. They have fit and wholesome recipes for satisfying and nutritious meals that you can feel good about. 6 recipes per week to choose from, including low-calorie and carb-conscious options. in the past, when my wife actually was sick, someone signed us up for HelloFresh for a time, and it was such a huge help just to be able to have all the ingredients there and easy to read and follow instructions and delicious meals at the end of it. Go to HelloFresh.com/LockedOn16. Use code LockedOn16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. That's HelloFresh.com/LockedOn16. Use code LockedOn16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. HelloFresh, just a great option for you for some healthy meals. Now, Built Bar as well, a great healthy alternative to candy bars. It tastes like a candy bar covered in 100% chocolate, but they are healthy and good for you. They're low calorie, high protein. You can replace your candy bars with them. They're better. A typical candy bar can be anywhere from 200 to 300 calories. Go to build.com, scroll down the macros chart. You'll be blown away. High protein, low calorie, high fiber, low carbs. They have great flavors like mint brownie, coconut. New for this month, white chocolate cookies and cream. How good does that sound? They're all about the taste first. They make it delicious, then figure out how to make it healthy. Don't know how they do it, but they pull it off every time. Go to build.com, use promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. Thank you so much again for making Locked On Bruins your first listen every day. The podcast is free and available on all platforms as well as on YouTube, so please do subscribe. You can also find the Locked On Now podcast, which is a daily recap of the previous night's action from our local experts. So the Bruins with the win last night. Just a very impressive effort from top to bottom. Many people contributing up and down the lineup. You had Patrice Bergeron with a goal and 2 assists. David Pastrnak with 3 assists. Brad Marchand, 2 goals. Jake DeBrusk with a goal and an assist. I particularly loved the play where DeBrusk caused a turnover at the blue line, retrieved the puck deeper in the zone from Matt Grzelcyk, and instead of electing to shoot a high save probability shot on net, he found Brad Marchand coming in behind the play and setting up that goal. Really a nice sign of maturity for Jake DeBrusk in that one. And as long as he's playing at a high level, the Bruins are definitely better off for it. Matt Grzelcyk chipped in a goal and an assist. And then you had goals from Marc McLaughlin, like we mentioned, Eric Howla, Taylor Hall, Charlie McAvoy, Trent Frederick, Mike Riley, Hampus Lindholm chipping in assists as well. And so when it comes to awarding the big bear of the night, it's pretty difficult. So many guys chipped in, making contributions up and down the lineup. But I think we're going to have to give it to McLaughlin just for making such an impact in his first career game. 13 minutes of ice time, including a minute on the power play, 1 goal, 3 shots. He added a hit as well. Obviously, Patrice Bergeron deserves some props. 3 points, 6 shots. I thought Anton Blidh had a nice energy game. 2 shots on goal, 4 hits in this one. And I really liked Mike Riley's play as well. Coming in after being benched, he got an assist. He got a good kind of penalty by stepping up when Charlie McAvoy got leveled behind the net. Didn't get any shots, but he did have a couple hits and just played a pretty strong game. But again, McLaughlin with the goal, earning big bear of the night. The Bruins dominant at 5-on-5 in this one. 59% of the shot attempts. 59% of the scoring chances and high danger chances. That's at 5-on-5. And yeah, just very much deserved to win this game. Those of you who have been longtime listeners of the podcast know that I live up here in Guelph, Ontario, home of the Storm. Nico Dawes, a fantastic junior goalie for the Guelph Storm. Felt bad for him giving up those goals, especially that DeBrusque goal where he knocked the puck to him and really got the primary assist. But the Bruins definitely needed this win and earned it for sure as well. Now, before the game, Tuukka Rask was honored by the Boston Bruins with a tribute video that featured his infamous milk crate throwing, ending with one of his more recent career highlight saves with the blocker, catching it with the blocker. He, along with his 2-year-old daughter, dropped the ceremonial puck ahead of the game. And prior to that, he said he was looking forward to celebrating with fans in the stands, people that are watching at home. And he's looking forward to cheering together and chirping together. Don't know if he stayed the whole game. He did have his 3 kids with him. But he did say that he intends to remain in Boston with his family and be a brand ambassador for the Bruins. He said he'll be hanging out with sponsors, golfing, shaking hands in the suites. Doesn't know what the long-term future holds. Maybe he'll get into coaching, maybe not. But for now, he'll be hanging out with sponsors. He also added that he expects to maintain a relationship with Jeremy Swayman, kind of being around the practice rink, mentoring him a bit. Linus Ullmark filling that role as well, but perhaps he might pair up with goalie coach Bob Essensa and just provide some more expertise and just being there for a young guy like Jeremy Swayman, and perhaps also for Linus Ullmark, who is more of a veteran guy, but under more intense scrutiny as a goalie for the Boston Bruins. Before we get into what is next for Boston, let's take a quick look at BetOnline. After months of playing, college basketball has determined the top team for the Final Four top teams and will determine this year's national champion this coming week. BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. Latest odds, contests, and player props, you name it, they have it. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino games. Head to the website today, laptop or phone. Learn more about the trends in action at BetOnline, where the game starts. Overall, the Bruins had a pretty successful month of March. Let's just pull up their record here. Since January 1st, of course, we know that they have been one of the top teams in the NHL. I believe they were third in the NHL in point percentage. For the month of March, they were second in the NHL in point percentage, 750, behind only the Florida Panthers. They posted a record of 10-3-1. Their 21 points were fourth in the NHL, behind Florida, the Rangers, and the Wild. Rangers Wild having more games played than the Bruins, hence the higher point percentage. In terms of goals for, they were fifth in the NHL, 3.79. Goals against, they were eighth with 2.79. So just a fantastic month of March for the Boston Bruins. And they'll have an opportunity to hit the ground running here in the final month of the regular season with a home and home against the Columbus Blue Jackets, followed by a date with the Detroit Red Wings. Those are the three immediate games on the schedule. Tomorrow they'll host Columbus. Monday they will be in Columbus. And then game in Detroit on Tuesday before 2 days off. Then they'll head to Tampa Bay for another big game against the Lightning. So certainly the next three games, certainly winnable for the Boston Bruins. They are, 20 points up on the Blue Jackets in the standings at the moment. 28 points up on the Red Wings. So they really have a chance here to pick up a big 6 points. They still are in the first wild card spot at the moment. They are 1 point back of the Lightning. Tampa does have a game in hand. They're 2 points back on the Maple Leafs, who beat the Jets last night. So that game earlier this week really proving to be the difference at the moment. If you stack up all the Eastern Conference teams and go by point percentage, the Bruins 7th, just behind the Pittsburgh Penguins, who have a 667 point percentage. Bruins are 664 overall, a record of 42-20-5. Wouldn't affect them in terms of their playoff spot, but gives you an idea of how they stack up against the rest of the Eastern Conference. So the Bruins, second overall in the NHL in the month of March, just continuing a great run here that began back when play resumed following the holiday and COVID break. Remain third overall in the NHL in 2022, behind only Colorado and Florida, a 720 point percentage for our Boston Bruins. And some very winnable games here coming up, beginning tomorrow at home against the Columbus Blue Jackets. I think that pretty much does it for today's episode, friends. Thank you so much again for all the downloads, all the love in the month of March. A record month here on the podcast, and I'm hoping we can keep that going in April, down the stretch, and into the playoffs for sure. And hopefully it's not just a one and out for the Bruins in the playoffs. It's great to see Tuukka thriving. Great to see him happy in retirement, and all the respect in the world for him and for what he did for the Bruins. Weekend plans, well, hockey's over for our boys, so just hoping to enjoy the outdoor weather, although it's snowing right now. Pretty cruel April Fool's joke. Catching up on some shows, trying to take it easy with their shoulder, fighting these colds in the house. So throw up some positive vibes to the McLaren family if you have a chance. Yeah, thanks so much for a great week here on the pod. Be back on Monday to talk about the Blue Jackets game. And I promise to get some other voices on the podcast here over the next few weeks. Take care, friends, and thanks so much for tuning into the Locked On Boston Bruins podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your favorite team, every single day.